I'm Janet Cunningham with the University of Utah College of Humanities, and today I'm speaking with Fernando Rubio, co-director of the Second Language Teaching and Research Center and professor of Spanish Linguistics. Known as L2TReC, the center supports research on second language acquisition and works with language teachers at all levels of instruction. First off, can you just explain what the center is, what L2TReC does?
Sure. So L2TReC was created to capitalize on the university's strengths in language teaching, foreign language education, and also on the fact that the state of Utah is, in a way, the perfect lab for research on language learning. As a center, we want to serve the language teaching community in Utah and across the nation by providing access to training opportunities, facilitating and disseminating research on language acquisition, and in general by spreading the word about what makes Utah a unique place for language education. We have expertise in language teaching, in proficiency assessment, and in second language acquisition, and we have been quite successful in our efforts to capitalize on that expertise by getting funding in the form of external grants. We have currently, we're running 3 federal grants. One that we've run for 6 years now is a grant from the Department of Defense that made our center a language training center for military personnel. And through that grant, we teach what the military calls critical or strategic languages to military personnel. We also have a grant that we're in our 5th year now. It's a grant from the Institute of International Education. And the purpose of that grant is to fund research on language proficiency of college-level students in a variety of languages at all levels. And just a couple of weeks ago, we got word that we have been awarded a very prestigious Language Resource Center grant from the Department of Education. We are now one of 16 language resource centers, or LRCs, in the country, and we are in very good company. Other universities that have LRCs are places like Georgetown, Duke, UCLA, University of Texas, Indiana. These LRCs serve as resources for improving the nation's capacity for teaching and learning foreign languages through teacher training, research, materials development, and in general dissemination. And the focus of our LRC is specifically on K through 20 articulation in language learning and dissemination of best practices.
Can you go into a little more detail about how the center supports K through 12 and how it supports college students?
So at the university level, we use graduate students as research assistants with one of the research projects that we have, which is the creation of a language corpus. We also use graduate students as teaching assistants for our military courses. We have a small grant program that's open to all University of Utah graduate and undergraduate students that are interested in studying acquisition or teaching of second languages. And we also provide proficiency testing for students across the university. So anyone who may need their level of proficiency in a language officially assessed can come for us for help. And at the K through 12 level, our involvement is mainly through our participation in the Utah Dual Language Immersion Program, and specifically the Bridge program. So we work with the Utah State Board of Education as the unit that provides analysis of dual language immersion assessment data. And the Board of Education also consults with us on everything related to assessment and pedagogical implications and curricular implications of assessment. But our main contribution to the K through 12 system is through the Bridge program, which is a program designed as the piece that connects K through 12 language education with higher education.
In your opinion, why is second language acquisition vital in today's world?
Well, there are many reasons why learning a second language is crucial. In the United States, we tend to forget the fact that the majority of the population in the world speak more than one language, that most people in the world are bilingual or multilingual. So being monolingual puts you at a disadvantage. There's, of course, a lot of research that points to the cognitive benefits of bilingualism. and also specifically to the academic benefits of having a bilingual brain and the fact that bilingualism helps you perform better academically, even in areas that have nothing to do with language. And of course, there's the practical benefits of bilingualism. And if you look at the research on the salaries that bilinguals make compared to their monolingual peers, then you see the practical advantages of speaking more than one language. But there's also the intangible benefits, the fact that learning a language forces you to open your mind to different points of view, to a different culture, makes you more flexible. And those are all very useful skills in today's world.
You touched a little bit on research. So what type of research is coming out of the center? And is there any way students can get involved, either graduate or undergraduate students?
So for the past few years, the research that we've done has been mostly related to the grants that I described earlier. So we've done a significant amount of research on the development of language proficiency of college students and on the factors that may affect proficiency growth. We've had a number of articles published on that line of research, and we have a volume that's going to be out November 2018 that includes several chapters on research that we've done around that particular area. And in parallel to that, we've also done a lot of research on language proficiency with the dual language immersion students in Utah. And we also have a very exciting project related to these two areas that I briefly mentioned earlier, which is the development of a large corpus of learner language. And for those who are not used to this type of research, a corpus is basically a large repository of samples of language. And our corpus, again, taking advantage of the fact that we live in Utah and we have the perfect lab for research on language acquisition, our corpus includes samples of language from three types of learners: students in the immersion programs in Utah, college students that learn the language through classroom study, and then immersion learners that have acquired the language by living abroad for a significant period of time. And this corpus that we're developing is freely available online, so it's open to anyone who's interested in doing research on language acquisition or simply taking a look at a fifth grader in the Utah immersion program is able to do. And as I mentioned earlier, we have a group of graduate students that have been working on development of these, on the tagging and analysis of these language samples that we have included in the corpus. And this is a project that's just starting. It will take several years to complete. So anyone with the language skills, native speaker of one of these languages or highly proficient in one of these languages interested in helping out with this project, please get in touch with us.
That was Fernando Rubio of the Second Language Teaching and Research Center. Visit humanities.utah.edu for more information about L2TReC and the other centers housed in the College of Humanities.